If you're a writer, at some point you've probably asked yourself, why the hell do I do this? Well, today I've got some answers for you that'll hopefully help you understand your motives. What's up, guys? My name's Brandon McNulty. I'm a writer, I'm the author of Bad Parts, and welcome to my writing channel. Today we're going to tackle the question, why do we write? And that's a big question because writing is something that requires you to sacrifice a lot of your time and a lot of other potentially great things. For instance, every time you sit down to write, you are saying no to family time or to other hobbies or to, the potential to make more money or so many other things. So you better have a good reason to write if you're doing so. And I think there are a lot of great reasons to write, but when I was researching this subject, I came across an essay written by George Orwell, who is, of course, the guy who wrote 1984, Animal Farm, and he also wrote a bunch of essays, including an essay called Why I Write. And in this essay, Orwell described 4 particular reasons why he believes all writers write. Today, I wanted to talk about these 4 reasons. I also wanted to add in a couple of my own, but first I want to start with his, and his terminology is a little weird, so just follow me on this. I will explain them in a second, but first I just want to mention them one by one. First one is sheer egoism, then he has aesthetic enthusiasm, and then he has historical impulse and political purpose. So like I said, the terminology is a little weird, but he does go on to explain each of these in detail. The first one, sheer egoism, he describes as writers having to be seen as clever or as intelligent or as visionaries or whatever you want to think of it as. You have to, believe you're smart enough to write something that is brilliant, that will, change people's lives and impact people profoundly. His second idea, aesthetic enthusiasm, deals with the artsy side of writing and is particularly like how we perceive beauty. And I think if you are going to become a writer, you have to see beauty in the world or in other people or inside your own head, wherever it is. His third motive is historical impulse, and this is the one he describes the least. I'm going to read it for you because it's only a sentence, but what he says, it's the desire to see things as they are, to find out true facts and store them up for the use of posterity. And I hope I'm not misinterpreting what he's saying, but I think what he's saying is that writers are seeking truth. What he's trying to say is that in our world there are a lot of mysteries, there's misconceptions, there's outright lies, and what writers try to do, they try to cut through all the confusion and find truth in that world. So historical impulse, that's his third one. And then the fourth one is political purpose. And he uses political in the broadest sense. Like the term political, he means it in the sense that not necessarily like with elections and ballot boxes, but just the idea of pushing ideas forward and pushing the world in a new direction. So yes, I mean, this is Orwell. This is a guy who wrote 1984, which is a book that is overtly political. But I mean, he's also suggesting that every story is political in some sense or another. He's saying that like even like a Hallmark romance is political in the sense that it's pushing the world forward in a new direction. It's saying that, okay, you know what, if these two people set aside their differences, they'll fall in love. If we set aside our differences, the world will be a better place. I mean, and pretty much every story does that in one way or another. So those are his 4 motives, and I agree with them. I think, they're definitely things that I've seen, not just in myself, but also in other writers. I think in order to become a writer, yeah, you do have to have an ego. You do have to have appreciation for the aesthetics. You want to seek truth, and you gotta, push ideas forward and push the world in a new direction. I also think that I have 2 other ones that I kind of wish he added here. The first one is that writing enables us to think critically, and I think that's such a powerful thing because when you sit down to write, especially if you're sitting down to write fiction and you need to get all your facts straight, if you sit down to write, you are learning more about the world and you are learning how to organize your thoughts, organize your ideas, push your ideas into the minds of others. Don't discount that as a motive, and then also don't discount the idea of connecting with others. And that's something that can be very powerful, especially if you're an introverted person. A lot of introverts gravitate toward writing, whereas maybe like extroverted people might be more interested in public speaking or just, hanging out with other people. I mean, I'm a big introvert. I hate going to parties. I'd much rather sit in front of a computer and type away at my desk. That's my ideal way of connecting with people. But I think there's also, I mean, with writing, there's a unique way of connecting with people in the sense that, once you sit down, you type away at that document, and someday you publish it, whether it's a short story, a novel, an essay, whatever. Once you publish it, other people read it. There's always that chance that somebody's going to reach out to you from like the other end of the globe, and they'll send you an email and they'll say like, "Hey, what you had to say, that meant something to me. That impacted me. That was awesome." And when you get that message as a writer from some other reader, and you make that connection, that's a very powerful thing. And I think one other thing that I really love about writing is that the blank page, for as scary as it is, it always listens to what you have to say. It's always there for you. And sometimes you have people, they don't want to hear what you have to say, or they don't care what you have to say, or they're talking over you. The blank page always listens. And that to me is something that's always been meaningful, especially when I'm trying to get my thoughts out there, make sense of myself and the world around me. So I hope this video helps. Question of the day: what is your main motive for writing? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for me. Share this video with a friend if you don't mind. Pick up a copy of Bad Parts if you haven't already. And as always, remember to keep on writing.